Hold on. Apparently there's a time cutoff. So, we just finished segment 2. Segment 3. You observe a couple of students in the back of the room are laughing a little harder than the others, and there is some playful shoving back and forth on the stools. No one seems to be angry, but you overhear, "I'm not. You do it." The other student stands up, still sniggering, and proceeds to the corner where the emergency shower is hosed. He pulls a chain, and water begins to pour from the shower head. Alarmed at the speed and the amount of the flow, he hurriedly pulls the chain again, attempting to turn it off. His lab partner, as well as other students, run over and try to help with no avail. All three are soaked and panicking. They scamper back to their seats, just like the rest of the students, watch in horror as the water, now gushing, speeds rapidly and begins covering the floor of the entire room. What do you do, and why? Okay, at this point, first of all, there should be a teacher in the room, maybe lab assistants or whatever. There are going to be other staff members around. They don't tend to leave students unattended in a lab room. I have no idea how to turn off a shower head like that. So, yeah, I have no idea. But I do know that if they have a shower, there's usually a drain. So, I'd probably, first of all, not stress too incredibly, except that now the kids are, like, riled a little bit. I would, during the laughing and snickering, I might have interpreted that to my student if the student was not someplace where they could hear, where they could see what was going on. I might add that into my interpretation that there's a lot of laughing going on in the back of the room. Not with the intent to distract them, but in case that something like this happens, they would be aware of that. I would probably follow the teacher's lead. I'd probably stand up because the act of standing helps to gain a little bit of control of the room. And I'm sure that the teacher or whoever would probably go over. I might, if the teacher went over, I would probably watch. If they can't figure out how to turn it off, I might, double check that the deaf student was okay and walk over and see if I could help. Having no information on how to turn it off, I know that's not by pulling the chain again, but I really have no idea how to turn it off. So, I doubt I could be much help. But if I were the only adult in the room, I would definitely walk over and see if I could figure out how to turn it off. Or I would use the intercom system that most classrooms have and try and get some help. But yeah, I don't think that even me stepping out of the interpreter role would really help the situation that much, because I have no idea how to turn off the shower like that. But we'll see. I would kind of do what I could and hopefully just follow the lead of the other teachers. Segment number 4. There is now over an inch of water standing in the classroom, and it is rising rapidly. Just then, the teacher returns to the classroom. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I forgot that the teacher had left. So, I'm the only person in the room. Then I would definitely go help. In the previous segment, I forgot that these build on each other. So the teacher is gone. There is now over an inch of water standing in the classroom, and is rising rapidly. Just then, the teacher returns to the classroom. She looks around in shock, saying nothing, and then says nothing for a moment, and then rushes over and presses an obscure shut-off button on the wall next to the shower. Once the deluge is under control, she surveys the room. She calls the 3 wet students to the front of the class and demands to know what happened. They remain silent. She looks out over the class and asks for an explanation. None of the students respond, and all eyes turn to you. What do you do, and why? Okay, we're talking high school, if I remember from the first. We're talking the driver says this is high school. All of these students are perfectly capable of explaining for themselves what happened. I would probably have my eyes on the teacher, and if the eye contact comes to me, many teachers, when they ask, they are not looking for another adult to step in and give the kids a cop-out. So they will avoid the eye contact of the adult in the room because they do not want that adult to have to fess up. they want the students to admit what happened. So the eye contact stays with the students as they try to get them to tell. If she really needs an explanation, at this point it's obvious that somebody turned the faucet on. But if she really needs an explanation that is, if she needs one, regardless of the fact that the students are not telling her that, then she will make eye contact with me, and then I will probably walk over to her and explain quietly, Sim coming, because I have a deaf student in the room. Plus I will have been interpreting everything. Let me back up for a second. She's asking a question. I'm obviously interpreting the question. And then I'm going to catch her eyes, watch her, and see if she catches my eyes, and then if she does, I will probably walk a little bit away from the student, and then Simcom a response of what happened. But I would be very reluctant to do that. I do not like to be the one to tattletale on students. And in high school, at any age, it is perfectly their responsibility to take care of explaining and fessing up to what happened. So I would not feel an obligation to explain that unless the teacher specifically looked at me and wanted an explanation from me, knowing that I would tell her. And I would, if she really wanted it from me. Segment number 5. The science wing has to be shut down and the classes relocated so the flooding can be taken care of. After school, you are called to the principal's office. When you arrive, you hear the science teacher's muffled voice through the glass. Soon, she exits, visibly flustered, and the principal asks you to step inside. You close the door and he offers you a seat. He begins by saying that he understands your role as the interpreter, but that considerable damage has been done to the school and it is imperative that they identify the culprit. None of the students are talking, and the teacher has stated that she has no idea who is responsible, only that she left you in charge of the class, what you do, and why. First of all, I would point out that she did not leave me in charge of the class. If she left me in charge of the class, she needed to tell me that, and that would have been in my, if I am an interpreter only, according to RID specifications, that code of ethics, code of professional conduct, then I have no responsibility for those students. I am simply an interpreter that has been brought in from an organization. So she has no right to be leaving me in charge of that class. However, if I was hired by the school and I'm part of the educational team, and by EIPA, I am part of the educational team, and she can, but that should be in my, she should have just checked with me before she left to make sure that I was responsible. According to this scenario, I am not in charge of this classroom at all, except that I happen to be the only one over 18. So that, I think I would make sure that that's clarified first, depending on which way it goes, whether I'm an interpreter only, or educational team. And then I would have no problem telling what happened. If I'm part of the educational team, and I am responsible in the classroom, it might have changed how my actions went. I might have, gone over more quickly, tried to figure out what happened. I might have even kept control of the classroom, kept them quiet, kept them working on their school. If the teacher leaves and she's just gone and there's nobody in charge of the classroom, then they can chat all they want. But backing up, if I really was in charge and she had placed the responsibility on me very clearly, then I would have given them assignments to do and kept control of the classroom. But from my perspective, I didn't have responsibility for the classroom. I had responsibility for the communication between my student and the teacher. Since they said I did not have disciplinary rights, I do not think I was in charge of the classroom. So I would not take responsibility for the damage at all. I would explain, step by step, kind of what I've done in this video. Hold on. And then I would work through what I had done in each step, because I did not feel responsibility, I did not hush the class to keep them working. The kids started getting rowdy, I interpreted it, that is my job, to interpret, hold on. And then I moved on to take control, help out a little bit here and there where they needed me. When the water went off